potential. That'd be nice if people are motivated in that way. So the long answer is I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I will say this. This is an interesting market because everybody wants that recurring revenue, right? We all want the monthly fee that we can count on, but this is a precarious market in a lot of ways. People are in and out. You know, is this market going to want to commit to a monthly service contract? Can I provide them enough value month to month to warrant that, or do these services need to be set up as a almost gig-like basis where let me buy an hour of law advice, let me, you know, maybe I know insurance might not go with that as well, but there's certain aspects of the business that could be productized, you know, block eyes that, hey, buy this for X, you know, and then maybe if you had advantage, you know, it works for you, you keep needing it, hey, you know, you should probably go ahead and go onto a monthly plan or pay for the cheaper option or whatever. But that's, I mean, that's kind of how I envision it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say, like, as someone that being in a freelance world is trying to always meet people, it seems like when you go to meet and greets, you meet a lot of people that are trying to connect you to someone who can connect you to a financial product.
Yeah.
That happens everywhere you go. But someone who's saying, hey, look, there's a ton of stuff you need. You can come to me and just buy into this tier for a monthly fee, and then you can have access to this level from all of these different things. That seems really exciting and innovative.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for that. I mean, that's what I was trying to hit on earlier as to what I can offer now and where I'd like to be in terms of the right now mostly affiliate relationship, referral relationships, because that's what I can bring to the table for people. But then that's kind of what I was hitting on, that ownership aspect, where I own it from, you know, start to finish, and then I can bundle stuff like that. Then I can make it a product. So that you know, we're on kind of the same page as to where it could go. I'm just not there, you know.
Yeah. That's a cool idea.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, rather than simply being a referral service, you know, you could become their human resources department, and you work out the relationships with all of the service providers yourself, and you get a discounts from your service providers for marketing their services to the new markets, and you can do that because, you know, they can see future business from you, and then you get to evaluate the quality of your service providers. All these service providers work for you, and then you make the connections, but you remain responsible to your client for the delivery of those services in a satisfactory and cost-effective manner. And that otherwise it's too complicated. You know, you want to minimize, you know, your time dealing with a whole raft of service providers and working out special deals with all of them. You know, you should have your service providers and just have a single point of contact.
Yeah, you know, the first part of your conversation, I mean, or your comment, where services to the business, I think you hit on it, or you know, you hit on it too. In a month, 2 months, you know, I might come back to you guys and be like, hey, you know, right on, like, because that's you, the guys who latched onto it fast. Because I'll tell you, I'm watching these marketplaces come up, and they're taking a lot of heat on the way people are treated in there. And so they're looking, and I know I've already seen a couple deals out there of those companies who are looking to provide exact, you know, whether it be human resources like you described, or at least, hey, help me take care of these people who are working for my marketplace. You know, there's some opportunity there too. So you mentioned ADP, who does outsourced. They have a whole department on
about a product that ADP actually kind of offers, very similar to what he's trying to do.
So I don't know, you know, how big that they need to be for ADP to be interested, but certainly your idea, you know, it's ADP's into it, so it makes sense. It works for some level, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
As somebody who's in the business of housing entrepreneurs, you might want to approach, when you're ready to kick this off, and approach the different co-working spaces, business centers, and the industry. I mean, there are industry groups, and approach them as, here's what we offer. That might be a market for you, a way to market.
Yeah, I got a lot of work to do. You're right. I got to hustle. Yes, sir.
I was gonna say.
I'm sorry if I was ignoring you. I wasn't meaning to, but you're up in the corner, so.
That's all right. No, it's fine. I was just gonna say, for me, the markets that you're dealing with are my least favorite in business. I just met with a financial advisor last week at Starbucks who was pitching some of the same things. And I find that the thing that makes it most difficult for me to entertain it any further than the initial meeting is just how confusing it is. And I think somebody needs to sit down and really make the front end of it really pretty and have some ways to run scenarios. So when they're talking to me about implementing 401k at my agency, I have to, I don't want to have to go back and run calculations and say if I have this many and then, so for me, it's kind of like what eSurance brought to the auto insurance marketplace when they launched, people could just go online, press a few buttons, you drive this often, you live here, here's your price, so if it could be that simple, then it would be something I'm interested in. I think it's not that simple because the industry wants you to sit down with these people who then want to get involved in every aspect of your life, and they want to sell every family member something, and they want to sell all your employees something, and it just is like, just give me the information, let me see some scenarios, let me see why this is better for me, and I can pull the trigger on it.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the feedback. Definitely, the simplification is a key area out there. And the products can get complicated. Who does what is complicated. How they work together is complicated. What are my commitments and obligations is complicated. It can be very tough to figure out. So, for sure, somebody who can come in there and make it so it's nice and friendly on a tablet-sized device. And then there's a ton of software out there. We were talking about it a few weeks ago, and so I think maybe there's aspects of partnering with people who are creating some of that interface already, and they see the value of, hey, instead of just being a piece of software, we can connect people to experts as well. Maybe that's where things wind up going, because nowadays everybody wants to have that. Well, how do I use your service, right? You got to have an app. I'm not sure what that app for my service would look like right now, right? Right now, it would be everybody else's app, probably. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mark. Go ahead. No, go ahead, yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of moving parts. Are you really trying to simplify and boil it down to something that is easier for you and easier for the client?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love any feedback on how to do that, too. So here's what I'm at. I'm trying to scale a new concept, relatively new concept. There's a few people out there that are working on this, and at the same time figure out, all right, well, where's the actual sweet spot that I can get some traction on early? And most likely where I get that traction is where my focus will start to go. So I agree right now, I'm kind of giving, hey, here's where it could look like. That being said, I think there's still value from this, bringing the services together, making it easy, one point of access end to end. So I have to balance simplicity and focus with actually having, meeting that value proposition. So
I just see you sitting at your computer and just running through Thumbtack all day, and just lining people up to talk to your clients. It's already out there almost. You just kind of need to be the focal point to bring the two together.
Yeah.
Because the guy sitting in his small business doesn't know what question to even ask and who to look for on Thumbtack.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of stuff that's already set out there. You might want to, distill what each one of those things are, an Angie's List even, or, those type of sites, and milk it for all it's worth, and have enough knowledge above and beyond what your client has, and you're selling them your ability to go out and find out all the people for them on already existing platforms, locally even.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
So as we finish up, I have something for you here, and we always ask the question, what can 1 million cups do for you?
Oh, goodness. I didn't think about that question. I thought about all the others. Well, first of all, who's ever done freelancing? Anybody who's a freelancer? What I would ask is if you would take a few more, day or two, go look at the website, and if you could shoot me an email of, in my experience, here's what registered with me based on what you were talking. If you could do that 2-minute email or whatever, that would be helpful.
Feedback on what they
Feedback.
see at your website.
What,
What
and
are they
what,
getting
out of
from
what
it?
I've talked about today,
Does
what
it make
registered?
sense?
Yeah,
Does it make sense, or what do we see as your focus from what you're
right.
presenting?
Yeah, if it doesn't make
Just
sense, tell me that too.
feedback.
Here's where, but I need more feedback from people who, who have done this and know what their needs were. I mean, I have an idea. I've been a freelancer too, but it always helps to get that feedback. So that's what I would ask for. And then of course, other people who are service providers in these buckets who you think would take a flyer on talking to somebody with a new idea. I'm happy to have those conversations too.
That's always great too. Well, thank you so much for coming. We have a cup for you to get your
All right.
next million cups. See you next week.
That's it.